Thank you. Well, Jumbo, everybody, and good morning. My name is Max, and welcome to Kilimanjaro Safaris here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, before we get started on our safari adventure today, I do have a couple reminders for your safety. All your hands, arms, feet, and legs must remain inside the truck at all times. At this point, there is no more standing. There's no more switching seats. And parents, please do not hold your kids up in the air. Wherever everybody is seated, you must remain there for the entire duration of our safari. That is for your safety and for the safety of those around you. Now, there are going to be tons of animals for us to spot out there today. However, I cannot stop for every single animal we see. It'll just take too long. So as a result, if you are planning on taking pictures or any videos, just make sure you have those cameras out ready to go. Just because, again, I can't stop for them. Now, I honestly wouldn't trust that spotting guide above you that much, though. The last time it was updated was around 1998. So it's not going to be really accurate for today's safari. However, it does give you a great idea, though, exactly how many different animals we might be able to find out here in Africa. A lot of the animals here like to use camouflage to their advantage. It might be a little harder to spot some of the animals out there this morning. We'll keep our eyes peeled, though, because you never know, we might be able to find. Alright, looks like we got tons of animals coming up. So we'll start with these animals over here on your left-hand side first. Now, the first one, the tannish color animal with the white stripes, those are greater kudu. They are the tallest standing antelope in the Ituri. They stand about 5 feet tall at the shoulder. The reddish brown animal with the white stripes has a bongo. Bongo are the largest. They weigh upwards of 750 pounds. So you have both the largest and also the tallest antelope here in the Ituri. And up there on the hill, all the way on the right-hand side, the animal looks like an unfinished zebra. That is what we call an okapi. And the okapi is actually the only known relative of the giraffe. Now, even though that animal does have stripes like a zebra, they do not use their stripes like zebra. Zebra use their stripes as a way to identify each other. However, these okapi use their stripes as a way to follow each other. Those white stripes on the animal stick out like a sore thumb at night, and that allows those okapi to be able to follow one another, and the nighttime just make sure they don't lose one another. Because, for example, if you're an animal that is not a predator, pretty much your safety is best relying in the groups that you're with. So as a result, they have those white stripes on their hind legs, just make sure they can all stay with each other during the nighttime. Now, it looks like I can't really spot any animals on this side. Looks like those animals may have just been up there on the front side, though. But it looks like we do have one last animal coming over here on our left here. We do have a bird species here. This is saddle-billed stork. They are actually the largest stork species found out here in Africa. They do stand about 5 feet tall. It's about the height of your armrest that is on your left and right-hand side to the floor. They do have a wingspan of up to 9 feet wide, though. That's the same width of this truck. They're also one of the only birds in the world that do not have vocal cords. They do not chirp like normal birds. They click their bills instead. Think like the clicking of a pen. That's actually how they communicate to one another, so they don't have vocal cords. And now, friends, having our way over here into the Safi River. A lot of the animals here in the Safi River like to use these watering holes to cool off here. And usually here we can find some of Africa's more famous animals here. But let's see if there's a little bit of a backup here with some of these trucks here. So we're going to hang out here. Looks like starting off over there on the right-hand corner there, you might have been able to spot those Nile hippo there. The view of them, unfortunately, just is not the best of them, so we'll just continue to make way. There might be some more coming up on the left here once these rocks kind of level themselves out here. We do have some birds coming up on the right-hand side, though. These are what we call pink-backed pelican. They do get their name from that pink coloration on their backs during mating season. Now, these birds are actually very similar to us humans, both in the fact that they are also omnivores like us humans as well. They do eat a combination of both leaves and meat, so they're not going to eat just meat, they're not going to eat just leaves. They're going to eat a nice, healthy diet of both of them, because they each contain certain minerals and nutrients that they need in order to stay healthy. But over on our left, though, I can promise a little better look at this hippo there. Now, Nile hippo are one of the largest and most dangerous creatures found out here in all of Africa. They do weigh upwards of 5,500 pounds. What makes them so dangerous, though, is that they are extremely territorial animals. So these hippos don't really like sharing those waters and kind of only like having them to themselves. Now, with those Nile hippos, they can hold their breath underwater for up to 8 minutes at a time. And for a land mammal, that's pretty impressive. They can hold their breath underwater for as long as they can. But the reason why Nile hippo are able to do that is because hippos are related to whales. Whales are cousins of one another with the hippos. Again, whales do not breathe underwater. They are also a mammal. However, they do hold their breath. Those hippos do have that same ability in their lungs to hold their breath. They obviously can't just do it as long as whales can, because obviously hippos aren't as big as the whales are. Now, something very interesting about Nile crocodile, though, is regarding their eggs. Now, whenever the mother lays those eggs, the temperature of the ground will determine what gender those eggs will hatch. So if it's 86 degrees and lower, those eggs will hatch as females. If it's 9 degrees and above, the eggs will hatch as males. So depending on exactly where that mother lays her eggs, if there's summer with a lot of shade or summer where there's a lot of sun, that female can actually alter the gender of her eggs up to about a month before those eggs eventually hatch. And our friends are about to make way out here onto our savannah. Now, being our savannah is so large, we have split it up into two different regions, the eastern and western half. Out here in our western half, you can see that we've changed a lot in terms of scenery. Lost a lot of that shade, gained a lot more sun, and the grass out here is a lot shorter. It's mainly due to a lot of the animals that call the savannah home. One of Africa's most famous animals that include giraffe, zebra, and elephant like to call the western half of the savannah out here home. So I can't really spot much animal activity on the right here, but there are a lot more animals coming up here in just a second here to make our way a little closer here. And now we're going to start off with this first animal over here on the right, laying down there. You see he's looking right at us there. That animal coming up is an Ankole cattle. They're also nicknamed Watusi cattle. They're nicknamed after the group of people who domesticated them. Now, as you can tell, these Ankoles obviously have those very large horns. The horns on their head do grow anywhere from 4 to 5 feet in length. However, those horns are actually hollow on the inside. So those horns really only weigh about 20 pounds. They are, though, however, still the heaviest and largest animal horns out of any other cattle species in the world. So we're going to be able to compensate for that. These animals do have extra muscles in their neck. Just make sure they are able to keep their heads held up high, even though they have those very heavy horns on top of their heads there. And over here on our left, directly back left-hand side of the truck, there you might be able to spot those are African painted dogs on our left here. Now, these dogs are actually the single most successful hunting animal out here on the reserve. Lions will catch their prey around 30% of the time. These dogs will catch their prey 90% of the time. They're a lot more successful at hunting than lions are. The reason why they are so good at hunting is because they are a pack animal. However, they do not hunt as a pack animal. Instead, these Ankole will take turns. One of them will start chasing after their prey. The next one will tag themselves in, and they'll keep kind of interchaining each other until eventually this kind of tire themselves out, and they eventually win whatever animal they're chasing. And over here on our left is another antelope species. These are sable antelope. Now, this is actually one of the only animals in the world that can defend both their front side and their back side. If you notice that their horns, they almost lean backwards. They almost touch their backside. And as a result, that if any animal jumps on their back, they can actually use those horns to defend their backside. They're actually one of the best defending animals in the entire world as a result of that. For example, if you notice with those Ankole, those horns stick out to the side. So, for example, that animal cannot defend its backside, only the front side. So, again, those sable antelope are very, very good defending animals. And coming up here on the right is our last antelope species of the day. These are elands. Now, elands are the largest antelope out here in Africa. They do weigh upwards of 2,000 pounds. Now, even though this animal does weigh as much as they do, elands can actually jump 9 feet high in the air standing still. Now, this truck is a little shy of about 12 feet high. However, fully running, this animal can actually jump almost 12 feet high in the air. So theoretically, he could jump over this truck if he wanted to. He's not going to, but he could if he wanted to. Coming up here on the right is definitely the single most famous animal out here in the reserve. That is a Maasai giraffe. We're not going to stop for this one because I think there might be some more coming up here, but we'll go get a nice glimpse of one of the giraffe though. Now, Maasai giraffe are the tallest standing land mammal in the entire world. They do stand anywhere from 18 to 20 feet tall. They do spend 24 hours out of the day standing up. They spend about 20 hours out of the day eating. Giraffe actually only sleep for 2 minutes at a time. They're called micro naps. So giraffe go to sleep for 2 minutes, will wake up and get some food, take another 2-minute nap, wake up and get some food, and will then continue that process throughout the entire day. So again, us humans, we need around 8 to 10 hours of sleep a day. These giraffe only need about 30 to 45 minutes of sleep a day. So again, these giraffe do not sleep as much compared to a lot of other animals. Now, something very interesting about giraffe, though, is that giraffe actually only drink water around once every 4 days. It's actually due to vulnerability issues. So pretty much, giraffe during the summertime, they will keep pretty consistent with that once every 4 days. However, during the winter months, these giraffe may go once every month when drinking water. Whenever they do decide to drink that water, not one single day, if that's once every 4 days or once every month, those giraffe will drink around 10 gallons of water in one single sitting, and then it will go that 4 days to a month without drinking water again. And it looks like coming up on the right here, we have a very large animal coming up on our right. Looks like we do have an African elephant here. The largest land mammal in the entire world. They do weigh upwards of 13,000 pounds. In other words, to maintain that weight, they eat upwards of around 300 pounds of food every single day. Best way you can tell this is African elephant is actually based off their ears. Their ears are in the same exact shape as the African continent. Other elephant species like Indian and Asian elephant, their ears are not going to be the same exact shape as their continent. It's just with these African elephants, their ears are kind of eerily similar to the African continent. Now again, those elephants' diets do mainly consist of things such as leaves and plants, and unfortunately these greens do not have any nutritional benefits to these elephants whatsoever. And for an animal that are as big as elephants, nutrients are probably one of the most important things to them. And as a result, these elephants do have to eat other food because again, these leaves do not provide any nutrients. So coming up here, once we cross this bridge here, I might be able to show you the other type of food these elephants like to snack on sometimes. So in addition to all those leaves and greens that these elephants are going to eat, they're going to eat this next food coming up here. This is red clay. Now these elephants will eat the red clay. Think of it like a multivitamin. It contains a lot of the important minerals, nutrients that these elephants need. So again, these elephants are mainly going to eat all those plants as a way to make sure they can stay this up nice and filled up. This red clay will not fill them up whatsoever. However, it does give them those nutrients and those greens are lacking in. Now, so there are some more elephants coming up on the left here. Let's just look to be our parade herd here. So it's going to be all of our females and the young ones out here. Now with these elephants are the single animal out here in the reserve that do get hotter than any other animal. That's for actually two very good reasons. The first one is being that they are a very large animal. They have a lot more of their skin touching the sun because they have a lot larger surface area. So that's the first reason why they get hot. The second reason why these animals heat up very quickly is because of their skin color. Elephants are a dark gray color, so they're going to absorb a lot more sunlight than a lot of lighter colored animals. So these guys do get hot very quickly. So in order to make themselves nice and cool, elephants do have a very unique tool that's attached to them, and that is actually their ears. Now in elephants' ears, we notice on the left here, these two elephants are flapping their ears right now. That's how they keep themselves nice and cool. In their ears, they have a lot of blood vessels. So what these elephants will do is they will flap their ears as much as possible, so that way they can actually cool off the blood in their ears. And by doing that little technique alone, elephants can reduce their body temperature by 20 degrees by flapping their ears. And so again, they will try to cool off that blood in their ear. They'll then recirculate that blood back to their body, and that's how they're able to keep themselves nice and cool, meaning they do get hot very quickly. And coming up on the left, looks like we do have some greater flamingo. Now, a group of greater flamingo is called a flamboyant. So we have a flamboyant, a greater flamingo here. Now, flamingo do not hatch a pink bird. They do hatch a white bird. It takes flamingo on average around 2 years of eating shrimp before they even start showing one full pink feather. So for the first 2 years of their life, flamingo are going to be that very nice white color. Then after they hit 2 years old, anytime after that, if they've eaten enough shrimp, they will start showing those pink colors underneath instead. Having a way out here onto our eastern half of the savannah. And out here we have a change again in terms of scenery, getting back a lot of the shade. Instead of grass here, we have a lot of mud. A lot of the animals that call this side of the savannah home like to utilize the environment to their advantage. They're going to use the shade here. It makes it great for camouflage. But they're also going to utilize mud walls like the one here on the left. They're going to use it as a way to cool themselves off. So at least we're on this side of the savannah. Make sure you're looking deep in all the shade here because you might miss an animal, especially if they aren't looking close enough for you. Looks like starting on our left here, looks like there is a cheetah all the way on the top of that hill there. Now, cheetah are the fastest land mammal in the entire world. They do reach speeds of up to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. Now, they aren't able to maintain that speed for long. Cheetah do have to run in a very short burst. That's because their fur is very thick. It does exhaust them pretty quickly. So cheetah can really only run in about a 10-second burst. They do have to take a very long rest after that, again, because their fur does exhaust them very quickly as a result. This has another one coming on the left here. Now, cheetah are the single most dangerous animal found out here on the reserve. The reason being is because of those spots. Those cheetah are covered in over 2,000 of those individual black spots. And whenever these cheetah hide out in the bushes with all that shade, especially at the nighttime, with those spots, those cheetah almost disappear in all these bushes in the nighttime. So it's another reason why they're probably the single most dangerous predator animal found out here in Africa. Because not only can they move very fast, but also because they are able to go almost completely invisible at night. It's another reason why they are very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's like, speaking of predators on your left here, so you do have another predator, it's a lion on your left here. Now, lions do weigh upwards of 500 pounds. However, this male is going to be a little bit of an exception. Now, we can tell this is a male lion. Why? Because of that mane, right? All that beautiful hair around his neck there. Now, even though that hair looks very beautiful, looks very impressive, that is actually 80 pounds of hair around his neck there. So typically, the males are going to weigh anywhere from 70 to 80 pounds more than the females, because again, all that hair is going to weigh him down. Now, unfortunately, though, lions are the laziest cat in the entire world. They do sleep 20 hours out of the day. The reason why they sleep so much is because lions hunt at night. During the day, their eyesight is the same as humans. However, at night, their eyesight is roughly upwards of 6 times as powerful. Lions can see almost 3/4 of a mile away with clear 20/20 vision at night. So that's another reason why they prefer to hunt at night, because again, they can see a lot better at night than they really can during the day. Let's take over here on our left, though, coming up, so we do have some warthog here. Now, warthog are a burrowing animal. However, they do not dig their own burrows. They do steal them from other animals. So, for example, if an anteater were to dig a burrow and that anteater goes away to get lunch, these pretty much warthog would steal that burrow away from that anteater. Now, whenever these warthogs find that burrow, though, they will back into it. The reason being for this is because if they ever see any predator animal walking on the outskirts of their burrow, they actually are able to run out of it. They don't have to turn around. Those warthogs can reach a top speed of around 40 miles per hour. So they can move very quickly compared to a lot of other animals out here in Africa, especially for their size range. Warthog, though, do get their name from those warts on their faces. Those 2 little protrusions are right beneath their eyes, one on each side of their face. And the reason being for that is because warthog will fight one another, and very constantly. If there's too many warthog and not enough burrows to go around, these warthog will pretty much fight one another for those burrows. And so again, those little warts there are just there just to make sure those warthogs don't harm each other's eyes, because again, they don't really want to hurt each other. They are family. However, though, if there's not enough space for them, they will fight one another to make sure they can get that space, though. And now, friends, we've entered onto our final part of the reserve today, the Makati Glen. This is where our ward next call home. In my opinion, it's also home to one of the cutest animals that are found out here on the reserve. Coming up, these are Nigerian dwarf goat. Now, yes, these goats are small. However, these goats are quite mighty. They can produce anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds of milk every single day, which is one of the reasons why the warden likes to keep these guys. Because not only do they produce that very high, rich milk, but also it takes a very small footprint needed in order to maintain these goats. You can see their areas are a lot smaller than needed for a lot of other animals out here. Now, if you think that these Nigerian dwarf goat are cute, a little later today, if you take the train over to Rafiki's Planet Watch, you can actually pet these goats for yourself, along with some cows, pigs, donkeys, and sheep. So again, if you want to pet these goats, make sure you take the train over to Rafiki's Planet Watch. It does open at 9:30. And now, friends, unfortunately with that, that is the end of our safari for today. So I do hope you enjoyed your time out there here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. We got to witness all the crazy cool animals that do call this place home. Of course, there are tons of things that you can do at home to help support these animals. Things, for example, such as reduce, reuse, and recycle. You can recycle all those old electronic batteries. They contain coltan, which can help reduce deforestation. You can reduce the amount of paper products you use, such as napkins, paper towels, and paper bags. You can tell trees are a very important resource to a lot of these animals. And of course, reuse. Things like reusable water bottles and reusable bags when shopping can reduce the burden on the environment, which in return is going to reduce the burden on all of our animals. And now, friends, I do want to thank you again for joining me here on Kilimanjaro Safaris and got to learn a little bit on how to discover, observe, and protect all the animals here on the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Hope we all had a great time out there today. Once again, my name has been Max, that is M-A-X. I do come to you from Claremont, Florida. If you do have any questions for me today, though, about any of the animals you saw or just any questions in general, my window on the right is always open. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have today, or if you need a recommendation for today, I'm more than happy to provide you one of those as well. Now, if you are interested in going on another safari, I always recommend it. Every single time you go, you might see a new animal, but you also will have a new driver, and they always have some cool animal facts and conservation messages for you. Our safari today, though, does close at 6:30, a lot earlier than a lot of the other attractions here in the park. So if you are interested in going on another safari, make sure you are in line by 6:30, and then you are able to get another safari after that.